Hello everyone. Today's topic is this house supports the rise of health-based influencing. We define that and this house has opposing the increase of health influencers on social media who do not have professional expertise such as doctors or nutritionists. And I will start my speech. On modern social media, there is a rapid increase in influencers who post content about health, medicine, and lifestyle. While they attract people's attention with friendly and appealing content, serious risk and hidden behind it. We strongly warn against the current situation where individuals without advanced expertise broadcast the right answer for health to unspecified large audience and threatening the health and safety of society as a whole. First, the biggest problem we must face directly is the current reality on social media, where having a large number of followers is misunderstood as having accurate information. Becoming a medical professional requires years of rigorous education and scientific evidence because the human body is complex. However, many health-based influencers hold no such official qualification, and the basis of their post is nothing more than personal experience, fully supported information shared, and somewhere or extreme original theories.
POI?
Yes.
Don't you think that there is still value in the motivation that health-based content promotes, even if it doesn't always have to be completely factually true for every single detail?
And yes, because they don't have scientific knowledge. And I will continue my speech. And personal success story like I lost weight using this method or this supplement relieves my stress is by no means a medical tools applicable to everyone. Nevertheless, due to their glamorous appearance and friendly tone, many followers accept and the information binary as correct medical knowledge. And what makes it even more serious is that health influencers severely and damages the mental health of viewers, and influencers constantly post idealized and lifestyle and heavy edited bodies, creating unrealistic standards. This drives many followers into severe self-doubt and leading to serious mental health issues and unhealthy eating habits. And instead of promoting wellness, and their content acts as a trigger for anxiety and toxic and self-image, especially for young people. This is a highly dangerous situation that stands in direct opposition to the ethics of medical professionals. And the opposition may argue that influencers provide a good starting point for people to become interested in health and exercise. However, if the entrance of that starting point is wrong, it will only result in destroying people's health. So, it is no easy task to restore a body or mind that has been broken by inaccurate information lacking scientific evidence. And finally, having popularity is by no means synonymous with having expertise. Influence is not expertise, and this poem where unclear feed individuals spread inaccurate health information for commercial profit and put people's physical and mental health at risk, and must and immediately. And it is important to protect public health and the safety of lives. Thank you.
No, the thing government can't take away from our side is motivation. Health-based influencing ensures motivation, ensures that people get inspired, and ensures a safe community in which people can support each other and become fit and become happy and succeed in the achievements they need to do in their life. So, before I start my speech, I have 3 points of framing. One is about health-based influencing. We say that health-based influencing is something from it's characterized like from a person's experience that generally help them in their health journey. So they share it on social media for the people to benefit. We say that these social media, these health-based influencers are doing this like health-based influencing because they have benefited from learning about their health and learning to be fit and stuff like that. And we said that because these people have been successful, they want to share it with other people so that they can do it too. Two is about the different types of health-based influencing. I think there's 3 under this. One is like what they talks about, like medical stuff, and like we say that like this type of stuff that like doctors usually do are individual for each case, and it's not like a lot of fractions on like social media, so we think it's not important because it doesn't have like a huge impact in status quo anyways. Two is like for promoting healthy routines and lifestyle. We think that this type of health-based influencing is really, really good, which I'll explain in my debate in my speech today. And 3 is about like for promoting products that help you and stuff like that. They talk stuff about this, so I'm going to be rebutting to this in my speech. So the implication of all this is that this type of content is made to help people and inspire people. Like 75 hard and is like a fitness challenge, right? And documenting your journey and health-based influencing while educating the audience and inspiring them is very, very beneficial, and it's inspiring and it helps other people. So yeah. 3 is about media and influencing. We characterize media as accommodating to the public and for the public to inspire them in their fitness journey. As a trend, we see media favoring science-backed trends and information as it's reassuring for people that are watching. We say that this is a consistent trend that has been happening for a lot of years and for a long time now, where like these people open with like the hook of it's like, oh, I'm a PhD nutritionist, this is what I'm gonna tell you, that is scientifically backed, and they have like actually science backed like research articles and stuff like that. And because they're such highly credited people of like the science community, they of course are incentivized to tell the truth and to benefit as many people as possible. And people just won't want to like trust a random person on the internet, but people with these actual credentials and people with actual information will probably help these people that are watching social media. Okay, so my point today is, well, I have 2 points. One is about knowledge on personal health and well-being, and 2 is accessibility. So what knowledge on personal health and well-being? So health-based influencing and health influencers are likely to be personal trainers, PhD nutritionists, and people in like the health community, right? It's just very it's just very reasonable and logical to think that these people will be posting this type of content when they want to benefit the most people possible. They have experience, they know like the most effective ways, they know the information, and they can create a strong sense of community in their brand. So yeah, so people won't follow just about anyone, but people with actual credentials give people and the people watching reassurance. So they're going to get followers, they're going to attract the most traction on the internet. For example, ideas on like high protein, high fiber snacks as an athlete, or the actual psychological data around mental health and its connection to eating disorders. These are like the type of information that's going around on the internet right now. And we say that this type of knowledge is extremely valuable. And we say that it could be very reliable, especially because there are tons of research and tons of different influencers, because it's in such like a popular niche now and like on TikTok and Instagram. So that like if one influencer is saying something and another is basically contradicting it, you probably will do more research as like a logical person. So yeah, and second example is that many people have actually become fit with health-based influencing. For example, if people started this genre and started posting on social media and like track their progress, then they're of course going to be motivated and they're of course going to get success because they have accountability with social media. We say that this like entire community of health-based influencing is extremely important in the sense that it inspires people and it actually motivates them, rather than if they're all alone and they don't have any help, they don't have a sense of community, and they can very easily just binge watch Netflix while eating chips all day. We say, yeah, 2 is about accessibility. In the status quo, people don't like get easily actionable advice from like professionals, right? It's very hard to, and it's also very expensive to get help and like advice from people that are like PhD nutritionists or like personal trainers, especially if you're in like a place that like it's not very like well known yet. And so it's very accessible. Social media health influencing has made it possible for people to get information that has actually helped them from professionals, etc. So the impact on this is that people will be able to stay motivated on their fitness journey. A sense of community is there's a sense of community as they are inspired from social media influencers and are going through the same thing as they are and improving together. People can get accessible information for professionals, and professionals will be incentivized to tell the truth because they are very highly credited and they don't want to be known as an unreliable source. So the importance of all of this is that people will get fit and be able to do it in a fun way with a great community. It will prevent things such as like depression and stuff like that when they're going through extremely hard like transformation, because well fitness journey is like something that you change your whole lifestyle for, especially if you weren't fit before. So we say that having this social media influencing, it makes these people happy, it creates a sense of happiness, and it feels like you're doing it together with this really, really cool person on social media. So because of this, we're so proud to oppose.
And the next speaker.
First,
First, I will explain our second point. Nowadays, there is a rapid increase in promotional content related to health products on social media such as Instagram, X, and TikTok. In many cases, companies ask influencers to advertise their products in exchange for payment. However, such content is not neutral information but commercial advertising. For example, an influencer may be paid by a company to promote a drug that is said to cause weight loss. They might say things like exercise is useless, but if you take this supplement, you can easily lose weight, and present before and after images to make it seem credible. However, these images may be digitally altered and misleading, and the product itself may contain large amount of harmful laxative ingredients rather than being a safe or effective weight loss solution. People who use the product without knowing this may indeed experience weight loss, but it can seriously damage their health in the long term. As a result, they only emphasize positive effects and do not mention potential side effects or limitations, meaning that negative or uncertain aspects are often hidden. This structure creates a clear conflict of interest since influencers gain financial benefits through sponsorships and product sales. This is there is a risk that profit is prioritized over accuracy. Consequently, viewers may perceive this content as trustworthy health advice, leading to misguided health decisions and inappropriate use of products. This situation undermines trust in social media as a whole. Viewers begin to suspect that this information might just be a lie made for profit, which ultimately leads to a decline in trust in reliable information as well. If the growth of such influencers is stopped, it can help curb excessive commercialization, where misleading health benefits are exaggerated in order to sell questionable products. This is because influencers who provide accurate and non-commercial health information would no longer be overshadowed or diluted by profit-driven content. As a result, viewers would no longer need to constantly suspect that this information might just be a lie made for profit, and health-related information on social media could become trustworthy again. Therefore, we oppose the increase of health influencers without professional expertise in the field of health on social media. Next, I will about their first point. Their point. They said. They said that so medical staff and like doctors usually do individual care. However, what we are talking is that professionals can share general evidence-based health information, such as scientifically supported nutrition facts or warnings about dangerous dieting practices. In fact, preventing harmful misinformation is exactly part of public health education, which is already done in a general and non-individualized form. Therefore, the argument that medical knowledge is too individual to be shared on social media is the misunderstanding of our stance. We are not asking for personal diagnosis, but for reliable general guidance to prevent harm. So their argument is not true. And finally, I will explain our stance. Sorry. Next, I will rebut their first point. They said medical advice and the promotion of daily health habits are clearly spread, but it's not important in this motion because in reality, the line between them is extremely blurry, making it impossible for average viewers to tell them apart. So it's not important. And our stance is that social media should not be a place where misleading or false health information spread unchecked. So we propose this motion. Thank you.
Misinformation exists in the realm of health influencing, but that is a minor thing, as we have clearly stated in our first speaker speech. We are saying that on average, people become more conscious of health and they have been given opportunities to care more about health through different perspectives, such as mental health and the types of health we don't really usually recognize. Three things I'd like to do in my speech. Firstly, on extension, secondly, on argumentation, and thirdly, on rebuttals. Firstly, on extension, I have two extensions on this. Firstly, is on the rise of mental health awareness that was caused purely by the rise of health-based influencing. Before 2020, before social media became as big of a thing as it is right now, the awareness for mental health disorders such as ADHD and depression has been super low, and there have been multiple cases of bullying or discrimination because there wasn't enough awareness about these disorders. With social media, I think people now are much more conscious about these different mental disorders, and this can help. This helps people both in their mental health because they don't feel pressured to be the same, or they don't feel stressed from being different. But they also improve their physical health because they are happy enough, and mental health directly results to better physical health. So when they feel safe in an environment, they will be healthier in general. The second extension is on the accessibility of information. Yes, professional information still exists without social media, but it is much more easier to get this information with social media around. I think without social media, you wouldn't be able to directly ask a physical trainer's personal experience with training her clients if without paying a whole bunch of money, right? So things like social media made it more accessible. And I will talk more about media literacy as to prove why that the existence of misinformation in the minorities does not matter as much. Now, moving on to my argumentation, which is on better media literacy. Layer one, why government is bad. I like to clarify here that even if, say, the rise never happened, the rise of health-based influencing never happened, it is still true that there's going to be some amount of health-based influencing, because even if it isn't a trend, I think there's some content for every single topic available, right? So there's always going to be some information based on health. But the thing is, there's no enough attention on the topic where enough people can input their different opinions. Enough qualified people can do that. So people who do follow the smaller amount of health-based influencing blindly follow this advice because that is the only information that is available. Now on our side, why is the opposition side good? This is because with the rise of health-based influencing, the information that is available to the public is on a much bigger scale. More doctors and professionals are able to debunk a lot of these myths that influencers made, and viewers can judge truthfully on the information that are given to them, because there is a wide variety of people and information to look at. Furthermore, because there is such a wide variety, they would be incentivized to judge based on asking their personal doctors or people that are knowledgeable around them, right? And this is important because it impacts judgment on other things as well. Moving on to my impacts, firstly is on better media literacy. We have proven this by saying that because there's more content based on a single topic, people are able to judge whether this is good or bad in a better way. Whereas in government side, since there is less content, people are more likely to just blindly follow the advice. Second, impacting is on more thinking by oneself about health. Better media literacy in health. What better media literacy results in yourself asking to different people around you, not online, about like advice on health, and that is beneficial because it results in better health for you and perhaps even the people around you. Thirdly, is on more thinking about who to trust in general. You will develop better senses on what to trust and how to trust it. Here, I'd like to explain the uniqueness of health-based content that makes this possible. There is more incentive to think about themselves and properly critique the information that is given to them than it is for other more casual topics because it affects their health directly, right? So since it is such a big topic, there's a certain uniqueness in having to develop the ability to analyze media properly. Now, moving on to my rebuttals. Firstly, on misinformation and starting at the wrong point in your health journey. I think the most obvious rebuttal to this is that there are different people advising different things. So even if you start at the wrong type of content, the more you engage with the health related content, the more variety of things you get. So in the end, you kind of get a plethora of information that has different biases, but these different biases cancel each other out. Furthermore, like I've just stated, having this misinformation is kind of a blessing in disguise because it allows you to build media literacy because there are qualified people that exist. Even if toxic motivational things like that still exist, it is a minority of extreme cases. And in general, the health community is keen on calling out these toxic behaviors when they are found. Yes. The other side also made a point on there having no professional influencers to like give proper judgment, but that's simply not true, right? There are people who are qualified and have large following. There are people that are not qualified and have large followings, but as a normal viewer, if you look at someone who has less followers but is super qualified, and you look at someone who has more followers and is just a normal person, I think you would definitely pick the former person. And moving on to my second rebuttal on unrealistic standards in comparison. Yes, this is terrible. The usage of filters can highly damage people looking, but it's also symmetric because content like that exists in the status quo without the health-based influencing for people who want to look pretty but don't care about health, right? And this is in fact not true because mental health trends helped call out those filters. The only reason why a lot of us know about the consequences of having filters and not telling people is because this mental health movement made it happen, right? On my final rebuttal on promotional content, it's literally illegal to have an ad and not disclose it. So basically, if you look at the hashtags down below, you will find out it's an ad. And if you have enough media literacy to know it's an ad, then you will have some suspicion of it and will not blindly take every single piece of information that is given to you.
I will start my speech. Today's topic is this house will oppose the rise of health-based influencing. So we have to focus on the influence of social media for user and people's health is sensitive issues. So the point is how we should handle this information, especially young people who are beware of health influencer don't have complete ability that judging the information whether true or not. First, we will reconstruct our argument against their objections. Regarding our first point is important for user of social media because we have to focus on the inability of ability users to verify scientific claims, which is important because unlike financial losses, physical and mental health damages are often irreversible, like performing squat with incorrect form with unwanted mass in the workplace, making the legs look thicker. Those users practice training because they want to change their appearance, but making it or lead to severe physiological and mental damage. Also, they said both of influencer and both of influencer and user can exchange their experience and collage with them, but it's not important because it makes the sharing of this information lead to extreme dieting and the spread of unscientific personality. Okay, next, regarding our second point. Okay, I will move on to our second point, important point. Important point is the important for the financial and emotional exploitation of viewers, because we have to focus on how profit-driven marketing allows trust and targeted deception. Because we have this is important because in health, corporate profit directly clashes with user well-being, creating a dangerous conflict of interest. Okay, as they said, I will. Okay, I will move on to finally battle against their arguments. Regulating their first point, they said, influencer, people who influencer is only trainer and people who have certification, but it's not true because every people can be influencer, so their opinion is lack of evidence. And in their second point, they say people can judge for themselves whether information is good or bad. However, if people could always judge information correctly, misinformation would not be such a serious problem today. So their opinion is not true. Okay. I will reconstruct our second point. And first, the answers itself is not unique to unqualified influencers. Doctors, physical ligers, and other professionals can raise awareness more accurately and responsibly. Secondly, influencers oversimplify mental health convictions. This may lead people to misunderstand disorders or wrongly diagnose themselves. Therefore, while awareness is important, it should be promoted by qualified professionals rather than unqualified influencers. Okay, next, I will move on to the construct of our first point. Firstly, even home-based experience sharing influence can be harmful. personal experience may be based on unhealthy and or incorrect metaphor, such as extreme dieting, which are not necessarily safe even if presented as successful. Secondly, general health information should come from professionals, even if it's not individual damages. Advice from doctors or nutritionists is more reliable and evidence-based on unverified personal opinions. Okay, thank you.
We say that young people have been educated about whether TikTok and social media can be unreliable, and we also say that because young people are very curious, simply being told that they can't look at influencing content won't stop them from seeking inspiration from people. So for example, medicine, skincare, pills, etc. that are that can be scams without being on social media, and if someone had the insensibility to fall for any for those kind of things, they will look for those kinds of scams too. And scams don't simply exist on social media, but exist in different forms as well. So I think this is out of the scope of this debate. Anyway, going on, their entire speeches have been reliant on misinformation. But refuting against that, first of all, if we start opposing misinformation, or if we start eliminating everything risks of misinformation, we would simply have to eliminate. We would literally have to eliminate social media itself and other kinds of influencing itself, and and this would lead to rational bans, and it is very unlikely that this would be possible. Second of all, as a flip, we see that misinformation or content is necessary. Not misinformation, but information on the internet is necessary. Why? Because companies and professionals go to these media or wherever young people post things on to examine what the public wants or needs. For example, if the public wants more non-toxic skincare, dermatologists or other kinds of doctors could start creating products that are safe and suit these needs, such as Biba, the skincare line. Anyway, so we say that information is rather necessary for more production. Third of all, even doctoral or professional advice can be flawed, and these flaws don't only go for social media and influencer content. This is because each person has different types of skin or different allergies, etc., different age, and so it would be almost impossible to look for something that is absolutely non-toxic to every single person. And so I think the standards that the other side has brought up are unrealistic. Now I'm going to go on to weighing. I have one clash point, and it is about how the other side presents transparency versus ours present quantity. I have two pieces of representation to this. First of all, even if the amount of influencing content changes, the public's motivation for improving their health won't change. Why? Yes.
If we take this motion, viewers reach out to influencers, they can get information that's customized to their needs. So what do you think about this point?
I didn't understand what you said. But I do think because I think you said that influencers can sort of customize no, people can get customized information for their needs. But I think this is rather helpful to these two people, and rather than getting inspiration from people around them who don't have the same kinds of skin concerns. So I think it is important that people with motivation to learn about skincare can investigate what influencers have said about their concerns or what experiences that other people have had that they can get sort of information from. Anyway, the other side relies on the assumption that opposition eliminates the harm that the most harm that they mentioned. However, even if opposing influencing or voiced publicly, people will still people with high goals will still look for content or products that that are related to their concerns, and thus the chances of misinformation or scamming will not be eliminated just because of opposing this. Therefore, so proud to oppose.
As a reply speaker, I would like to weigh the benefits that this rise on health-based media has had on people rather than the current misinformation or the things that would exist in any type of world. I'd like to weigh based on 2 flashpoints today and conclude the debate. Summarize the debate from our perspective. The first flashpoint is on the societal stance on health. So government side said that misinformation will exist on our side, but we say that that it's quite a minor thing because there are professionals that cancel out the bias. But let's think about let's say that there is misinformation, but we think that misinformation, as our whip speakers said on the rebuttal about comments, when people already misinformation only exists because people already think like that in the status quo, right? If people don't think like that, they wouldn't say it and want other people to relate to that emotion. So when people already think that, and when people call them out for it in comments, or when health professionals call them out for it in their own respective social media videos, the correct information will be more accessible, because before there wasn't a demand to fix these misconceptions, but now because of social media and misinformation, there is the chance to call out these things and give proper knowledge to the average viewer. We say that even if misinformation exists, the enormous impacts that this movement has had on, for example, mental health recognition and building good communities for motivation to improve our health is much greater of a opportunity that has been gained than misinformation that can easily be proven. The distinct communities and the support towards these minorities is simply not achieved in government side. My second flashpoint is on health. I have 2 types of health, I guess. The first is financial health, and on how government sides said that people will be manipulated by promotional content, but we simply say that that is out of scope of this debate, because ads have to be disclosed in order to be ads. And if it isn't disclosed, and if people can't look at the hashtags, that's not a problem about these health influencers promoting these products. It's either a problem of the people that are using the internet being bad at media literacy, which our side would improve, or being illegal, which is completely out of scope. We say that the motivation to be better, on top of the media literacy that is built on our side, so the mental mindset, I get the mental health aspect of it is much greater than the financial burdens that would probably be avoided if people just follow the law. Lastly, I would like to describe what would have not happened if the movement had never existed. Firstly, there wouldn't be as accessible health advice available to the public without paying for an insane amount of money in order to get it. Secondly, there wouldn't be as many supportive communities based on health where people can connect despite different geographical differences or aspects like that. And thirdly, the awareness on mental health. This is really important because because I think media without health-based influencing would have still been bad if health-based influencing didn't warn people about filters or misinformation, manipulation, and things like that. That being said, I'm so proud to oppose.
I will start my speech. Social media should not be a place where misleading or false health information spreads unchecked, so I propose this motion. And first, I will summarize our point. Our first point is that health influencers lack these official qualifications. What they share is not scientific evidence, but merely personal anecdotes. Giving medical or health advice to a mass audience without a professional background is inherently dangerous. And our second point is that many health influencers prioritize profit over accuracy, spreading misleading information and hiding risks. This harms people's health and reduces trust in health information on social media. I will compare our point with their point. And in their point, they said people will be able to judge good or bad, but however, it's not true because even if they educate net literacy, young people are often not fully mature and may not have developed sufficient judgment skills to distinguish between false and true information. In addition, even many adults are unable to recognize edited or manipulated images. Therefore, it is not enough to assume that individuals can judge information on their own. Instead, we should remove the root causes of misinformation. Also, they argue that after taking this motion, viewers cannot get information tailored to their needs, but that is incorrect. This is because on social media, viewers can request specific topics, and those professionals can answer those requests perfectly. So their argument is weak. And in our next, I would like to explain our rebuttal to the attacks made by the opposing side. We are not asking professionals to provide personal diagnosis on social media. Rather, they can share general evidence-based health information, such as nutrition facts and warning about dangerous dieting practices. Therefore, the claim that medical knowledge is too individual to be shared on social media misunderstands our position. So our point is superior to their point. Therefore, I propose this motion. Thank you.